You're a Christian?
No, I'm not a Christian. I'm not really decided quite yet.
Okay, no problem. Just making sure, Okay.
Of course.
What can I do for you? Yes.
So I have this current situation. It's maybe less of a question, maybe just the understanding. My mother is a Muslim, and she has recently been heavily into it and has seriously only started practicing in 2019, but did officially take the faith back in about 2011. And I also took the faith back in 2011, but I left it in 2019 and then only recently decided to come back just to sort of give it another chance. My mom and I are constantly at odds about my not practicing Islam under her roof because we live together at the moment. And there are things that I'm not allowed to do in the house. Like I can't dance, I can't sing, I can't express myself in that way. And it feels like something that a teenager would go through, right? At least that's what it feels like to me. So my issue there is I'm constantly being told that I'm not good enough to practice the faith, or I'm not good enough for God, or I'm being disobedient. And I'm just wanting to get maybe another Muslim's perspective, because I don't think that not practicing a religion means that you're being disobedient or disrespectful to God, especially if that's not at the forefront of your mind anyway. For me, I have no issues with the Muslim community. I take issue where you take your beliefs and you try to push them onto someone else. In that case, my mother being this person who is constantly advocating for me, oh, your soul is going to be lost. You are waging a war with God that you're going to lose. Satan is speaking in your ear. And I don't believe those things. As an ex-Muslim, basically, I don't believe those things. I'm not convinced of those things anymore. I don't have a fear of hell. I don't care. I just want to know, how can I, because at this point I'm feeling like our relationship is sort of dead almost, pretty much because of it. And it's a shame, because I've always tried to meet her with the good principles of Islam, because I'm sure there are some in there, being a good person, treating other people with kindness and respect and those sorts of things. But I just worry that this might be the end of our relationship due to our, disagreements on practicing Islam and not practicing it. And it's not something that I'm convinced or interested in doing, but at the cost of a potential relationship with my mother. So maybe you can give me some perspective on this.
How old are you?
I'm 20. Look, I'm 27.
No, because you said something a teenager goes through, so I was like, it's just need to confirm.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what it feels like. It feels like something akin to that. That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah, that's why I'm just confirming. I'm just trying to understand, your age, So which is why I asked the question. Okay, because you said was a bit contradictory in a sense. One statement you made, you said that I'm trying to practice again, and then you said you are not a Muslim.
Well, no, I had only recently taken it up about a month and a half ago, and then I just stopped praying because I knew in my heart of hearts that it's just not something that I'm interested in. So this has been an on and off thing for me personally. I just don't find anything compelling about the religion, and that's not against anyone. It's just not for me. And I've said it so many different times in the most respectful way that I can. And I'm just finding that if this is the way that people people who are kind of representative of Islam are acting, I do have concerns about that in the community, but for the most part, most Muslims are pretty much nice and respectful. But I'm just having issues because it's affecting my relationship. But for me, it's not a problem, but for her, it is. And so maybe you can give some.
Well, I like your mother, honestly. I think from what you said about her, I think she's a very nice person, nice individual, and I'll explain why. But I want to ask you this first: if let's say you live in which country are you in?
I'm in America.
Okay, do you follow American law?
Right.
Yeah, because you're in American land.
Right. So
I think if I live under my parents' roof, they can make the rules. This is something I would say personally. Mm-hmm. If I'm me, Muhammed, my name is Muhammed. Yeah, nice to meet you. So if I'm living under my parents' roof, my father or my mother, I'll follow the rules because I'm living under their roof, right? I'm living under their house. And I know that my mother and my father, they only want good for me. No matter what anyone says. Anyone who comes and claims a mother doesn't love her daughter or doesn't love her son is someone who knows nothing about motherhood and fatherhood. I know for a fact your mother wants good for you. Of course, she's not happy with what you're doing because she knows there's consequence. She knows Islam is the truth. She knows there's punishment. Whether you care or you don't care, with all the respect to you, you are using feelings. You're not using facts. When you say, for example, I don't feel like it is the thing for me. Because obviously you want to dance and you want to, what you call, express yourself. You want to do these type of things. It does not feel like it's for you. But truth is not based on feelings. Truth is truth. So if your parent, if she's more wise than you, I'm not saying she is or she isn't. I'm saying, but if she is more wise than you and she knows this is the truth, and based on her knowing this is the truth, she wants good for you. She doesn't want her daughter to be punished. She doesn't want her daughter to be led astray. What might appear to you as harshness is more of care, is more of wanting good for you, is more of looking after her own daughter. If she doesn't tell you anything, that is a sign that she doesn't care. Because if she doesn't care about you, then do whatever you want to do. Just go do this or do that, or she's not going to care what you're doing. But this is a sign that she cares about you. The amount of effort that she's putting in to help you is just a sign of how much she actually cares about you as her daughter, how much she wants good for you. That's why I said she's a very nice lady. You say it's not convincing for you, but what kind of evidences have you come across? Let me ask this. What is the reason you would say you said you became Muslim in 2011? 2001? Yeah, 2011. And then now you said you left it in 2019, correct?
Right.
So what was the reason you left it in 2019?
I just didn't have any personal connection to it. There wasn't anything that really compelled me to continue to practice as much.
Yeah, what I would say is, from my estimation, I could be wrong, it is to do with the fact that Islam is restricting you from certain things that you want to do.
Well, not necessarily. Even if I did practice Islam, I haven't done anything. Like, I don't drink, I don't party, I don't have any kids. Like, I haven't done anything.
Why is that not being the kids? Is like,
well, I don't know. I'm child free and I'm very passionate about that. So, but I haven't done anything like in those teenage years. I've gotten my education. I have my bachelor's. I've done everything that my mother has asked me to do. But when it comes to this, it's this almost like the hill that she's willing to die on.
And I respect her for that.
No,
I respect her for that. And I would say to you that I highly respect for that. I've never seen her, but I completely respect her for that. And what I would say to you is, like, what you just said is your religion, is like Islam. When you say, for example, I don't drink or I don't do pork, for you, Islam is not just you don't drink or you don't eat pork, right? Islam is a way of life. It touches over all the aspects to do with the individual's life. And what determines whether someone is good or bad is Allah. What determines whether something is a sin or not is Allah. What determines is whether you'll be punished for something or not is Allah. When you're saying, like, I don't believe that I will be punished for this or this is a sin, you were saying that in the beginning. But it's not me and you who decides, or your mother. It's Allah is the one who decides what is right or wrong. So if your mother were to say to you, this is wrong, and Allah doesn't say it's wrong, then we will say to her, no, that's not wrong, because Allah didn't say it's wrong. And vice versa. The one who determines what is right or wrong is Allah. The one who determines what is right and wrong is the Creator. Now, it is a teaching of Islam that the parents are responsible for their children, and therefore she wants good for you. She will try her best and all of that, but she didn't force you to do anything. And if she did, Islam, she cannot force you to become Muslim, because that's in the heart. And I'm sure she knows that as well. But she's trying her best. She's making it clear that I don't compromise when it comes to belief. I'm not going to compromise when it comes to Islam. And we say religion is thicker than blood. For me, a Muslim, another Muslim, if my brother is not a Muslim and I have if my brother, my own brother, my blood brother is not a Muslim, and there is another Muslim out there, he's closer to me than my brother. Because belief, we have a brotherhood in belief, and it's thicker than the blood. The blood, anyone can be born from like another person, but in reality, they could be evil, they could be bad, it doesn't mean anything. But this togetherness in faith is something that unites us under the commands of Allah. So if you have children, I know like you're very against children, right? But let's have a hypothetical situation. Say hypothetically you had a child, and that child is running towards the fire. What would you do?
Well, what do you mean by running towards the fire?
There's a fire, right? Let's say there's wood and there's a fireplace and they're running towards it.
Well, I'm going to try to pull them away from the fire. I don't want them to get burned.
What if they're fighting you? Would you use a level of force to stop?
I mean, I'm going to have to try to restrain the child so that they don't get burned.
Absolutely. So the level of restriction is based on the level of resistance. That's essentially what your mother is doing. She sees you're increasing you are butting heads with her, as we say, and she's increasing her, like, whatever word you want to use, restraint, because she sees your level of like rebellions, if you want to use that term. So she knows what is good for you. It's not good for the child. That is going to hurt himself. The child might think, you know what? Look, this is light and it looks very beautiful and orange and all of these different colors, and he wants to touch it, and he thinks this is a good thing. Like, he wants to do it, and then he thinks the parent is evil because the parent is pushing him away from the fire. Or that child wants to eat so many sweets, and the parent is stopping them from doing it because it's not good for their teeth, it's not good for their blood level, or any of that. So you have a perspective of your mother. I think that you should love your mother for what she's doing. That's my honest opinion, is because it shows she cares. I have no doubt in my heart that it shows how much she cares about you. Because if she didn't care, she will not comment on anything you do. You live, you love, you do whatever you want to do. She's gonna get in the house, like do her thing, and that's it. If she's invested to that level, it shows her level of care about her daughter. That's like Islamic perspective. Of my perspective. Like,
I mean, I don't doubt that she does care. I haven't experienced the same level of positive outcome from Islam as maybe the rest of my family has. Because most of them practice Islam as well. I haven't experienced the same. I don't have another term for level of positive outcome.
Fulfillment, you wanna say?
By that, I just mean, like, essentially, if you pray about something, you get it or you don't. And if you don't get it, it's probably delayed. And then if it's delayed, then it's at the time that it's, quote unquote, supposed to be, even if you're working towards it, that kind of thing. And
no, it could be delayed to the afterlife as well. And it could be not answered at all.
Yeah, that's fair. But, if it's not answered at all, then I don't know why you would continue.
There are reasons. Sins can be a reason. People eating riba, eating from money from interest. And there's many reasons that are mentioned in the hadith and Islamic tradition why someone's dua, asking Allah for something might be accepted, might not be accepted. But the point is, to think you demand to get what you ask from Allah, it can be the reason why you're not answered, because it's a level of arrogance that I've not seen before. It is like you're saying Allah is it's the opposite. It's the slave and the king, you have replaced it. You are the one who tells Allah now what you want and He does what you want. That's not how it works. We're the servants of Allah and He is the creator, He's the master. He's the one who gives when He wants to give, how He wants to give. That's how a relationship works between a master and a servant, or between creation and the creator. To think, the people, I think they have an extreme level of arrogance, those who think that I can call upon Allah and He can give me whatever I want because I call upon Him. Who are you, man? Like, wake up. You are a creation of Allah among 8 other billion creations of Allah, among countless unknown number of creation that Allah created.
I mean, I'm going to disagree with the arrogance part. It's just if you're asking God for things, and I feel like if you're a decent person and you're sincere about it, which is one of the main requirements of being a Muslim in the first place, it would just be kind of expected that, it even says in the Holy Quran that, certain people get more and then certain people get less. So, and there's not any real rhyme or reason behind it.
It's not expected. The Quran says to you, you're tested. That's the reason. This life is a test, and Allah will test you with fear and hunger and loss of life and loss of wealth and restrictions of things that you might think are good for you. You want to do them based on your feelings, but they're not good for you. Allah says, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْقِتَالُ وَهُوَ كُرْهٌ لَكُمْ. Fighting has been written upon you, prescribed upon you, and you hate it. وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُوا شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. You may hate something and it's good for you, and you may love something that is bad for you, and Allah knows and you do not know. So Allah told us, so it's not expected that everything will be answered, because all of what I was telling you about the reasons of why it's not answered, all of that are in the Quran and Hadith. So what is happening is exactly what Allah told you is going to happen.
I mean, that's great. But I mean, it's not even that I don't believe in God. It's just Islam in particular. I don't know. I'm just worried about the relationship with my mom, like at the end of the day. But I feel like I have done my part to try to uphold that as best as I can. It's just this one piece that she's hanging on to and doesn't know how to let go of that. For all the reasons that you've said, I can agree with those reasons. She believes that she wants what's best for me and things like that. But I don't know. It's just at the end of the day, I feel like I have to sort of make my own decisions and find what works for me, because things still work out for me somehow. Like, there's been a lot of good things happening for me lately, just in general. And I don't know. I don't mean any disrespect to any Muslims or anything like that. Like, I have no issue with the Islam community. It's just when you're trying to force your personal beliefs onto someone else. But I do appreciate the perspective that you have given.
But you, also, that we're not trying to force anything on anyone. Like,
well, no, it's not that. It's just when you're repeatedly told and asked the same 4 questions a day, you start to think, hey, man, maybe this is it. Maybe but you're only going with that of compliance. It's not a choice. And that's the thing. I don't have any personal connection to Islam at all. But if you practice it, I don't have an issue with it.
Okay. Okay. But I do hope I did answer your question.
Yeah, thank you. There was some good insight in there. I can agree with that. So I'll be walking away with something today. I do appreciate your time.
No problem. And I do hope you also don't develop a resistance for Islam because of what your mother is doing, because that you subconsciously can happen. So what could be a reason for you to push yourself away from Islam is the fact that your mother is pushing you towards Islam. So that can happen as well. So I think it's very important for you to keep it in mind that could be an effect that is taking place and you're not noticing it.
Something to think about for sure.
Yeah, and like, trust me, the evidences for why Islam is the truth. When you talk about rationality, I think anyone who's sincere with himself, you cannot argue against the evidences that Islam is the truth. It's impossible. Now, feelings is a different issue. No one can control your feelings or your heart. That's something that is not in my hands. But to show rationally why Islam is the truth, that is the easiest thing to do. And based on that, your mother wants what is good for you because she knows this is the truth, and she knows whether you care or not, there is a punishment. Whether you realize or not, that there is a fire there that is going to burn you.
Okay. I guess that's fair.
No problem. Okay. Anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a good evening, night, wherever you are in the world. Have a good day.
And can you say hi to your mom? Can you say to her, you know? I respect her. If you can't say to her, I don't know if she knows me or she doesn't know, you can just say random Muslim on YouTube, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Mom.
No problem. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.